Hey everyone, this is Kate King, and I'm here today to share with you one of the most impactful theories of emotional healing and relationship balance that I have learned in my own healing and personal work. So I hope that you like it, and I'm really excited to share it with you. This theory was first taught to me by two of my most impactful mentors and teachers, Amy Babish and Miyuki Yamamoto. I owe these two women so much gratitude for the insight and the healing they've helped me find in my own journey. So, Amy and Miyuki didn't call this theory mirror theory. That's a name that I've kind of created as I've used it in my practice with my clients. But I call it the mirror theory because it is a theory that basically says that any people in your life, any relationships or experiences that are surrounding you can act as a mirror to reflect back information about you. So, this can happen in both personal interactions as well as collective experiences. You may notice that you are being very reactive to something that you see on television or a public figure, and you may notice that you react to your spouse or your neighbor. All of these reactions can be part of the mirror theory, and I will tell you why. So basically, when we see something in someone else that evokes a trigger or a heightened state within us that feels upset or ignited, it's an indication to us that there's something about our own stuff and our own unhealed work that is being activated by the behavior this person is exhibiting. So instead of projecting blame, which might be the easy or the habitual response to this type of trigger, the mirror theory invites you to ask yourself, what about this person's behavior is igniting something within me? How is my response to this person's behavior giving me information about unhealed work that I still have left to do in the world? So I will give you a few real life examples of this to help bring it home. So let's say, for example, that you notice or you are reacting to somebody in your life who you perceive as being really selfish. And the selfishness that you perceive in this person just drives you nuts, and it annoys you and it upsets you and it makes you really mad. So you may kind of instinctually want to blame this person for being really selfish and really uncaring about other people or really negligent of other people's feelings in the situation. Mirror theory would invite you to notice the selfishness in the person outside of you and also to notice the part of you that understands what selfishness feels like. Because you've undoubtedly felt selfishness before. We all have. And so this theory allows you to ask, what am I seeing in this person that I also know in myself? So this might look like, I don't like the selfish part of myself. When I'm selfish, I judge myself really harshly, or I criticize or punish myself. So it makes it really easy to punish or judge or criticize this other person when I notice selfishness in them too, because they are reflecting back to me the way I feel about selfishness in myself. So this can also reflect sort of the flip side of selfishness, where when I see someone else behaving from selfishness, it evokes a feeling that I am not important to them or I am somehow lacking because it doesn't seem that they care about me. So in this case, the external person's selfishness is triggering a part within me that is insecure and bringing forward that feeling of insecurity and highlighting that the insecurity within me is still unresolved and it's coming forward to let me know that it needs something, and this external person has triggered it with their selfishness. So if you can see the way this mirror theory sort of take someone else's behavior, which isn't our responsibility, right? Because everybody is living in their own sort of little ecosystem of their own bubble of experience. And it's not our responsibility to judge other people's experiences as right or wrong or good or bad, but instead we can notice what their behaviors are evoking in us in the forms of reactions or triggers or upset feelings. So I really invite you to remember that if it feels hot, if it feels triggered or upset or excited within you, then it's yours. It's your stuff, and it's an indication that you have work to do in whatever this realm is and whatever is being shown back to you by this person. So another example here would be something that I experience regularly with my children, and I'm sure all parents out there can relate to how it feels to be the tired parent who's always coming from a very sort of selfless love of taking care of the children and often not feeling appreciated or not having any gratitude expressed. So instead of projecting the blame that, God, my kids are so selfish, or my kids are so unappreciative of me, they're spoiled, nobody appreciates me, I don't matter, right? The mirror theory would say, I'm noticing with the lack of my children's appreciation that there's a part of me looking for external validation that my efforts are being noticed or that I have value in this family. And so I can release my children from the blame of being unappreciative or not caring or taking me for granted, because who knows if that's really the story or not. It's probably not the story of a 5 and a 7-year-old in my case. They're probably just living in their own little child bubble, and I'm over here reacting from this place of feeling unappreciated and thus not valuable in my family. And so if I can see that reflection mirrored back to me, then I can take time and energy and I can attend to that part of me that's coming up to say that external validation has become really important to me. And maybe it's time for me to recalibrate where I get my validation from and how I can source from a place of self-worth and self-love, and surround myself with other people in my life who see me and appreciate my efforts in ways that my children just may not be able to see in the developmental place that they're in. So this kind of theory, this mirror theory, relates a lot to the previous videos I've recorded about internal family systems and parts work. So if you haven't seen those videos yet, I encourage you to go search them out and get more familiar with parts work, because this mirror theory effectively reflects back to us so many different parts within us. Because when we get triggered or we get activated, we are basically inviting ourselves into a portal of awareness about a version or a part of us that has a need or has a message for us from deep within our system, and it's coming forward to let us know that the person that we're in relationship with or the experience that feels triggering in the moment is letting us know that there's something within us that's unhealed and that's ready to be worked on. So this is a really exciting theory, and I hope that you can get as much benefit from it as I have, not only in exercising really deep empathy and compassion for yourself and noticing the way that owning the responsibility and accountability for your feelings and your responses to people can be hugely empowering in your life, and it can allow you to foster a really meaningful connection with yourself and with the many parts of you. And it can also help to foster a deeper empathy and compassion for the people in your life and for the collective in a scale of kind of a shared humanity of experience, right? Like if I'm experiencing a person as being really selfish or being really arrogant, this mirror theory gives me the opportunity to notice that if I see arrogance in them, it means I know arrogance in me too. And I understand how it feels to be arrogant or to be acting from a selfish place or a wounded place or a perfectionist place, right? These are all experiences of being a human. And instead of punishing someone or criticizing or shaming them or saying that their behavior is bad or wrong in some way, if I can see that what lives in them also lives in me, then that creates sort of a collective sensitivity toward the human condition. And it allows me to access empathy for everyone doing the best they can on, this wild ride of being a human being. And it's an invitation into my own healing and inner work. And it really helps with relationships to be able to own what your trigger is, what's reflected back to you by the behavior, rather than igniting and blaming and creating kind of like a rupture in a relationship, saying that none of this is your fault and it's all the fault of the person who is reacting. So this mirror theory is an invitation in many ways, and I hope this has been a helpful introduction. I would love to hear any comments or experience you have that kind of go hand in hand with mirror theory. And so feel free to make your comments down below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel for more great content. And I look forward to next week's video. I'll see you then. Stay tuned.